Sometimes the heaviest part of the day is not the work itself. At 9:10 p.m., after the last student has gone home, a teacher presses one finger against the corner of a stack of graded papers just to make the edges line up. The air conditioner keeps humming. The hallway lights turn off one row at a time. The city sits reflected in the dark classroom window. Why can a quiet room make a person feel so far away from themselves? This may be the heavy mask of being the perfect teacher. It is the feeling of carrying calm, patience, answers, kindness, control, and warmth for everyone else, until the person underneath starts to lose a place to rest. It can happen slowly. Not in one dramatic moment. Not because a teacher stops caring. Sometimes it happens because caring becomes so public, so watched, and so constant that there is barely any private room left inside. A teacher can spend the whole day being steady for children who are loud, afraid, distracted, excited, tired, or lonely. One child asks the same question 4 times. One child cries because a friend moves seats. One child pretends not to care, but keeps looking toward the door. And the teacher becomes the soft wall that everything leans against. From the outside, that can look beautiful. From the inside, it can feel lonely. Because the teacher is not only teaching math, spelling, science, or reading. They are reading faces. They are measuring the tone of their own voice. They are catching tiny changes in the room before those changes become bigger. They are holding back their own sharpness when they are tired. They are smiling when the day has already taken more than it gave back. And after enough days like that, the mask does not feel like something they put on. It starts to feel like the only face they are allowed to bring. One common reason is role pressure that never fully turns off. A teacher is often seen as the grown-up who can handle it, the calm one, the prepared one, the person who always knows what comes next. When a room full of children looks toward one adult for direction, even small uncertainty can feel bigger than it really is. So the teacher learns to hide the pause, soften the frustration, and answer with a voice that sounds more certain than they feel. Later, alone in the classroom, that same voice can feel far away, as if it belongs to the job more than the person. It can begin quietly when kindness becomes something everyone expects, not something the teacher gets to choose from a real place. There is a difference between being kind and being unable to show any rough edge. In a classroom, a tired sigh can be misunderstood, a firm tone can replay in the mind, and one impatient sentence can feel heavier than 100 gentle ones. So the teacher keeps polishing themselves in real time, a softer face, a smoother answer, a better reaction, a cleaner version of patience. Little by little, even normal human tiredness starts to feel like a private failure. One thing that often sits underneath is the fear of being remembered the wrong way by a child. Teachers know that small moments can stay with kids. A sentence, a glance, a moment of being believed, a moment of being dismissed. That awareness can make the work meaningful, but it can also make every reaction feel loaded. A teacher may go home replaying one moment from recess, one child's quiet face, one parent email, one sentence that came out too quickly. The care is real, but the pressure can make the teacher feel as if there is no safe room for being unfinished. Imagine a teacher named Claire, standing in her classroom at 9:10 p.m., one hand on the light switch, the other still holding a dry erase marker with a cracked cap. She has already answered parent messages, wiped the board, stacked the papers, and picked up 3 tiny pencil erasers from the floor. Nothing bad happened that day. No big complaint. No scene. But she stays there, looking at the dark window, because leaving the room means she may finally feel the part she kept away all day, the part that was tired of being gentle, tired of being fair, tired of being watched. If you've been there, you're not strange. You might know someone who lives like this. Sometimes the hardest part is not breaking down. It is staying perfectly composed until there is no one left to see it. That is what makes this mask so heavy. It does not only cover pain. It covers ordinary humanity. It covers the moment a teacher wants 5 quiet minutes before anyone says their name again. It covers the small flash of irritation when a student interrupts during the only clear thought of the day. It covers the sadness of giving warmth to every child and then coming home with nothing soft left for themselves. It covers the strange guilt of loving the work and still wanting distance from it. And because the love is real, the guilt becomes more confusing. A person can care deeply and still feel worn down by caring. A person can love children and still feel crowded by constant expectation. A person can be good at their work and still feel like the role has eaten too much of their private self. That is the part many people do not see. They see the classroom door decorated with bright paper. They see the lesson plan. They see the patient voice. They see the teacher bending down to help a child tie a shoe, or staying after school to explain a project, or buying supplies with their own money because the room feels better when every kid has what they can use. But they may not see the teacher sitting in the parking lot before driving home, hands resting on the wheel, letting the silence feel almost unfamiliar. They may not see the teacher arriving home and having no words left. They may not see the way a simple question like "How was your day?" can feel too large, because the honest answer has too many pieces. This is where the loss of self can show up. Not as a loud crisis. More like a quiet confusion. The teacher may still know what they like, but no longer reach for it. They may still have favorite songs, favorite food, favorite places, but those things start to feel far away from the person who spends every day being useful. The self becomes a small room at the end of a long hallway, and by the time the day ends, there is barely enough energy to walk toward it. A gentle application for this kind of heaviness is not about becoming less caring. It may be about letting one small part of the day belong to the person, not the role. Not a grand ritual. Not a full reset. Maybe just a note on the desk that says, "I was a person here today, too." Maybe taking off the school lanyard before answering the last email. Maybe sitting in the car for one song without grading the day in the mind. The point is not to perform rest better. It is to let the body feel the difference between being responsible and being endlessly available. Another gentle way is to separate one hard moment from the whole identity. A teacher can have one impatient tone and still be caring. One messy day and still be devoted. One unfinished stack of papers and still be doing meaningful work. When the mask says, "A good teacher is always calm," a quieter truth may say, "A good teacher is still a person." That line matters because it gives the self a little room to return. You are not only the calm voice at the front of the room. You are also the person standing there after the lights go out, trying to remember where your own breath went. And maybe that is the quiet truth inside this title. The mask becomes heavy because it was never only about being good at a job. It was about being safe for children, reliable for parents, composed for colleagues, prepared for the next morning, and gentle even when the inside felt thin. No wonder it can feel like too much. At 9:10 p.m., the teacher finally turns off the classroom light. The air conditioner keeps humming for a few more seconds. The city still reflects in the black glass. The papers are straight. The room is quiet. Nothing looks broken from the outside. But inside, something small may be asking to come back. Not loudly. Just enough to say, there is a person under the perfect teacher mask, and that person is still here.